All right, round 2 of the day. We've got ourselves another mulligan here. Opponent is also mulliganing, though, so... All right, this one we're going to keep. We don't have a red mana, but hopefully we'll leave one on top for us. Wow. Opponent is going deep on mulls. We're going to bottom that, because we already have one in hand, and... Opponent is off to a rough start. So, Foil Island. That is my favorite island art, by the way. I know that might seem weird to people, but I love that one. It's like a saucer island or something. It's cool. Wait a second. I should probably just play that. Warlord Rogue. Alright. See what we're up against. Is it another rally deck? Or is it Eldrazi's? It is rally. Alright, we're up against rally again. Which is fine. Taking our medicine here. Huh. Okay. That's surprising. Oof. Bit of a miss there, huh? Ouchie. Guess good thing my opponent mulled to 4. Since we're not doing too much either here. All right. Oof. Oof. That's ugly. That was an ugly, ugly draw. That might actually be the worst draw we could have gotten. Yeah, I would say a second dig through time is actually worse than a second P in Kirinelar there. So yes, I think that is actually the worst draw. Oh man, opponent is just destroying us. On a multi-4. How crippling. There we go. Thankfully, we were just a land away from doing something productive here. We're still by no means in good shape here, by the way. I mean, we're not in awful shape either, but we're not out of trouble yet, I'll tell you that. Do I want to block Grim Haruspex? 4, 5, 6. If I block Grim Haruspex, he doesn't get to draw. He needs a second white. I think we're going to block Grim Haruspex here. He can Collected Company, get a Cutthroat, I guess, but he doesn't draw from Grim Haruspex, so I don't think that's the worst. Can't believe our 6-card hand ended up so much worse than our opponent's 4-card hand. That's surprising. All right, did get the Cutthroat, which means I don't think we would have been able to kill our opponent anyway. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, but opponent just beating us with 4 cards is blowing my mind. I'm getting mind blown, folks. Just getting mind blown. I mean, it's not like we've straight up lost, because we haven't, but I'd be lying if I said I was thrilled with the situation here. There we go. That was good. All right. So I can play Thopter Engineer. I can hit my opponent for a bit, but not enough. Guess that's the play. Let me see if I die to... Do I die to Murderous Cut? That's a legitimate question. Because let's say my opponent has Murderous Cut. They go 1 mana, and they get rid of Company, Delta, Wilds, and a Faithful. They're left with... They can cut my 1 blocker. Just can't do anything about stupid Rally. Alright. I think I play Thopter Engineer. And we're going to swing with everything but an Engineer and one. We're going to leave 1 Thopter back. So just in case my opponent has Murderous Cut plus Rally, I don't think that we die. Because that would be bad. So my opponent can sack. Let's see, my opponent's can gain 2 life here. I'm trying to think if I want to block with the Thopter, but I don't think I do. I am a land away from cracking Foundry and getting haste, but just block like that. Alright, so opponent sacks Visionary. Gains 1. Alright. Opponent's got to be dead now. And I can crack Foundry. Alright. I think we're officially okay. Alright. So got game 1. Opponent almost got there on a Multifor, which is pretty intimidating, as you might imagine. Roast is out. We're going to do the same game plan as before. Take out a couple aggregates. Even though they're good, they're not great against this deck since our opponent kind of wants his guys to die. Negates and Dispels come in. I kind of want to bring in a bit more spot removal. Could drop 1 blade for another piece of spot removal. For this Cutthroat. See, the problem with Cutthroat is by the time your opponent has Cutthroat, they probably have their sack outlet. And if they have their sack outlet, your Wild Slash doesn't really do much. I may just want to keep it like this, just bring in the counter spells. That's all I really care about. Something of note, Disdainful Stroke stops the combo too. It stops both Collected Company and it stops stupid Rally, because Rally has to be done for 2 to get all the value, which means it costs a grand total of 4. So I could actually bring in, as funny as that is, I could just go full-fledged combo hate and bring in Disdainful Stroke. Which is actually interesting. I mean, that's how they win the game. They don't win the game from... I'm trying to decide what I would cut if I wanted. If I wanted to do that, what would I cut? Just full-fledged combo hate, Disdainful Strokes, stop Collected Company, stop Rally. 10 ways to stop combo. And even though it's overkill, let's try it. Why not? Is it ridiculous? Yes. Is that okay? Yes. Yeah, let's take out a blade. Let's go just out of aggregate mode. Cut one more blade. All right, let's try this. Seems absurd, I know. I know. Actually, let's take out one wild slash. I don't even like burning my opponent's stuff that much. Okay. This is weird, I know. Keep this. Actually, I don't even really like Wild Slash in this match. Might just want to do aggregate because it's got trample. I don't know. That's questionable. I'm not going to slash that. All right, this is actually really nice. That was probably the best draw we could get, because now what we get to do is leave up hanger back pump plus negate, so we can actually counter the collected company. So we get to go full-fledged chill out mode for a little bit here. Sifter is still beatable, yeah. Sifter's fine. Alright, we're going to take the damage. I'm going to play a land and pass. Now we get to pump hanger back plus leave up negate. Well, okay. I guess opponent can still cast collected off the Scion. Alright, we'll take our medicine here. Just, yep. Dig, not a terrible draw. Alright, so we can't cast Sky Spawner because in response to the token coming out, you can cast Collected Company, which means we're just gonna chill one more turn at least, which is fine. Now, I mean, the hanger back makes the chill out so much easier. All we gotta do is counter Collected Company, and I think we're fine. Yeah, opponent is definitely casting collected here. So even if they have a collected they can do on their turn, that's still fine. It's just important that we stop that. So could have multiple collected. We're just going to have to live with that if they do. All right, what do you want me to say? Opponent had the goods. Opponent had the goods. So I guess we slash the Jace, because I want to make my dig through time cheaper. We're going to get drained here. And my opponent gets to scry. The double collected company is a big bummer, since my opponent only has 4 collected company and we straight up have 10 counter spells, but that's okay. That's okay. Nothing to be done. Alright. Guess we play Sky Spawner and pass. Three out of 4 collected companies. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's not very cool. That's a weird choice. Wasn't expecting that. I mean, granted, my opponent is scrying and drawing now, but my opponent saw 3 collected company in the top 12 cards. Or I guess it's 22 cards deep now. Alright. So that just tells me my opponent has rally. Alright. Alright. I think we're just dead. So that is the 4th Sidisi's Faithful. Yeah, we're definitely just dead. We just died to 3 collected companies, 4 Sidisi's Faithfuls. We'll go to game 3 and hope absurd things like that do not happen again. Still like our sideboard plan. Seems extremely good. As 10 counterspells should. I think we're going to bring back one more Wild Slash, though, because of Jace. Do I care about Jace? Do I care about Jace? Should I care about Jace? Yeah, I guess. Him being able to cast Collected Company again, too, is also not great. All right. Jace is a pretty important piece of that deck. All right. Last game of the match. Yeah, it's a keep. No counter spells in hand, but still feels like a keep. Opponent mulls to 6 and keeps. At least we get a hanger back on turn 2. Hopefully building up into a Pia and Kieran Lar. Admittedly, hanger back's a lot worse than I guess I initially thought because of stupid Sidisi's Faithful or whatever. Which is true enough, but that's okay. Getting a bit concerned. Do legitimately need a land here. There we go. Not the land I'm looking for. We're going to accept it, though. So, I think the sad thing is I'm probably going to have to cast a P in Kirinalar into a collected company. I don't like it, but I think it's what we got to do. Once again, I don't like it. I don't like it, but I think it's what we're going to do. All right. Yeah. No attacks, which is interesting. So, the reason I'm playing this is Sidisi's Faithful at this point just wrecks our day too much. Oh, man. Oh, man. God, I wish I could do more. Yeah. All right. That's the plan. So I think what's going to happen is if our opponent plays Sidisi's Faithful, we're in bad shape. If our opponent doesn't play Sidisi's Faithful, we're in really good shape. So opponent is just going to start upkeep digging for Sidisi's Faithful or Collected. Oh, looks like opponent immediately found what they were looking for, which makes me pretty unhappy. All right, not what I was expecting. Oh, they did find exactly what they were looking for. All right, so opponent finds exactly what they're looking for, which sucks, but happens. Guess we... Oh, that's actually interesting. I want to play another Pia and Kieran, so... 8, 1... Yeah, we're going to double block here. Opponent's got one card left in hand. Okay, so now I think I just want to play Hangerback Walker for 1. And pass. And we're probably going to just double block a Husk with Thopters. Basically, we just have to keep our opponent off of relevant spells. 1 card left in our opponent's hand. All right. Faithful again? All right. At least our opponent has no cards left. I guess that's a good sign. Really want to draw a land here. Okay, so now we get to do the good stuff. Now I think we can officially keep our opponent off of everything collected company, rally the whatever related. This is definitely a block. No problem. So let's go Whirler Rogue. Didn't tap my mana right there, but it doesn't really matter. We'll let this happen. Basically, we all know what spell we can't let my opponent cast, and Abzan Charm is just not quite on that list, so the only thing that really matters here is Rally the Ancestors and Collected Company. Certainly not Visionary. Yeah, that one's a bit tougher. Our opponent is just drawn sickly good here. I don't like it. Having two digs in my hand, too, is just really frustrating. I think I'm hanger backing for 2. I'm telegraphing a counter so hard, too. But I don't know what to tell you. Amazing how different this game would have been if I'd countered that Abzan Charm. I really was not expecting my opponent to rip 3 consecutive spells in the next 3 cards. Did my opponent just take out Rally and Collected Company? Is that what I'm to assume? It's pretty difficult for me to believe, but I guess it is theoretically possible. All of these counter spells. Alright, we'll pass. I can't even cast Dig. Because if I tap over Dig, my opponent just gets to go to town. Oh, well that's good news for us. Now we can cast Dig. Alright. So, Wild Slash plus Engineer. Put the rest on the bottom. Six mana. Alright. Let's kill him. That doesn't work. Opponent's going to get to draw off Grim Harrispex, but if I don't do that, they get to They get to copy Abzan Charm, which I just don't like. Alright. I want to start pushing some damage through here. I mean, you've got counters for days. Still feel like we're not winning this race as substantially as I'd like. My opponent's only played one Sidisi's, three Sidisi's Faithful. Three of them. Never mind. My opponent's only got one left this time, so we can hope that it's... My opponent's seen 12 more cards than I have, though, which is pretty obscene. This deck is way better than I initially thought. I mean, the fact that we're not, like, blowing our opponent out of the water right now should tell you something. Well, there's all the counter spells. Guess I could crack Foundry here and still leave up Dispel. I'm going to do that. I kind of need to do this here. I guess not. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Well, I wondered where all my counter spells were. Question answered. think we just block here. Let's say I crack Foundry. I can swing in for what I presume to be lethal unless my opponent starts sacking. Wish I could counter that. That'd be so sweet. Can you imagine if I could counter that? I think I hold up on that. I think that we just do this. I can also cast Dig. Maybe that's something I should consider here. It's not bad. Because like if I get Chief of the Foundry or something, which I did not. All right, this is fine. So let's go Wild Slash Walker. All right, so now we Wild Slash the Haruspex. All right, didn't sack it, which I guess doesn't really matter. Attack for 5. Probably should have just attacked with Thopters in retrospect. So if I do this, I can leave up 2 counters. If I play a hanger back, I can only leave up 1 counter. I think we leave up 2 counters. Let's pre-combat hanger back. Just in case. Swinging for 5. All right, pass. So this way we can leave up 3 counter spells. Let's stroke that. Is that... Oh. Good game that I won it. Jeez. Okay. Wow. Man. That is a tough match. Even when you know exactly what your opponent's doing, that deck can have the craziest draws ever. So, reasons this match is problematic. Sidisi's Faithful is really good against us because of Hanger Backwalker. You wouldn't think the card would be insane against us, but problem with this deck is it puts down, even though they're all wimps, like Visionaries or Cutthroats and stuff, the deck can deal damage to us faster than we can. We already know what the problem is. Our deck has a hard time leaving up counter spells as well as making a board presence. So maybe just having... Okay, I think actually bringing in more spot removal is necessary. I think that's what we have to do. So we're going to have to figure out a slightly tweaked... I totally didn't mind Disdainful Stroke there. I thought it worked fine. And we did manage to play 2 dig through times that game. So it's not like... We did end up on top, which is good. But it was close. Like, that was a really, really super close match. So there's still some learning that needs to be done, for sure. And I don't think that this is a auto win, even with all the counter spells. This is definitely a match where Dispel is more important. You know, honestly, it might be something where, since it's enough of the meta, maybe I just take a negate out and I take out a Disdainful Stroke and I up the count to 4 Dispels. Because that way, the Dispels are so much more disruptive in this match. But I also do want the spot removal. I think the Fiery Impulses should have come in. I was thinking they weren't good because why? Because my opponent brings them back with Rally. But taking out Jace is so important. Taking out Grim Haruspex is like of the utmost importance. Grim Haruspex is such a killer combo piece for my opponent. For some reason I was thinking Zulaport was the one I want to kill, but I think it's just pretty much Haruspex and Jace, and much more Haruspex. Haruspex is just such a good combo enabler, all the card draw. So super close match. Still lessons to be learned about this matchup. This is the second one today, but we haven't faced much 4-color Rally outside of that. So this is still a good test for our deck. I'm glad that we could walk away with 2 victories there. All right, we'll see you in the third and final round.